And the crazy thing is this place, Dulab, was it was an ammo dump where the insurgents would try and get in and get unexploded ordnance or rounds, RPG rounds, AK-47 rounds, rocket propelled grenade, et cetera, to either make IEDs, or at the time I think we were still calling them roadside bombs, and it was just something that it was a feeling that I think a lot of Marines chose to avoid it, because you don't want to get in your own head. But man, it was unmistakable to me, and I knew like this is not right. Mm-hmm. And we got out to Dulab, and a couple days after we got there, at this time I was the lead of the REACT team, or QRF, Quick Reaction Force. That's basically what that means is, wherever our area of operation is, if there's a threat in that area of operation or something that poses a threat, our job is to go neutralize the threat. And so we got out there, and
how large is the team?
Not me and 9 Marines. We had two vehicles. We actually had 2 two-door soft top Humvees, and so 10 Marines, 2 vehicles, 2 240 Golf machine guns, obviously 10 M16s. Let's just say 6 9mm. We probably had. We had enough on us to ruin your day, and it was. We had a REACT get called, and basically what happened was we captured 2 high-profile guys. And I remember we had the guys, and I'm on the net with battalion, and I'm doing this transaction with battalion, and they're saying, hey, that these guys are wanted, and do not let them out of your sight. And so I knew that this was very unorthodox because these guys had IDs on them, and it was just a very unorthodox situation. And I'm talking to battalion and trying to explain the best I can that, something's not right. And because we had to work in conjunction with the Iraqi National Guard and the Iraqi police. So they got to be on the same radio frequencies as us. They got to know our checkpoints, our ingress, egress, when we were going to be somewhere, how we were going to get there, when we were going to leave. Because somebody that sits behind a rich mahogany desk and wears a suit thought that was a good idea.
I was going to say, who the hell makes that decision?
Yeah, the guys over there, how does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. I mean, you can see a lot of our losses and combat losses come from
information leakage.
Green on green.
Yeah.
We call it, the guys were training to fight for their own country, and then they come to a point where they turn on them, and we knew it. We knew it already. Because I remember the first place where we had a checkpoint. We weren't there for 30 seconds, and a mortar round landed right in the middle of the road.
Oh,
and it was like, I wondered how they knew we were going to be here. That's odd. And we all knew. So it just makes an already frustrating, high energy, high stress environment that much more chaotic, because it's like, why are we giving them all the answers?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we even doing it?
Is that just from a political standpoint, is that just so that we can have stations here, and that's just the game that they had to play?
It was 100% a political move, and it was one of those things when coalition forces. And look, end of the day, you don't send guys like me to a foreign place to make friends.
Yeah.
It's not my job description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was never taught how to do that.
So you're back. Take us back to where you were. Now you got 2 guys.
So we have 2 guys, and then next thing I know is I see about 35 Iraq National Guard trucks coming down the road. And where we were, at this place called Dulab, there was only 1 entrance, 1 exit to where we were, and the guys came in and surrounded us. And so they just made a big circle around us, and I just remember thinking, this is not good.
Right.
And they all got out of their vehicles, and they all had AK-47s. And it was one of those situations where it was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. See how this plays out. And the commander got out and said, who's in charge here? And he and I started talking, of course, with my interpreter. And there's about 65 of them, and there's 10 of us. Mm-hmm. And so, but to my math, they were heavily outnumbered. And
that's right.
I was like, you know what? And this guy was basically telling me, like, these guys pose no threat. You need to let them go. And I said, well, you must have been working with the Army, because I don't give a shit what you think. Mm. And you're not. I'm not here for you.
Yeah, I'm not answering to you.
And he basically told me that, well, this is you're outnumbered. And I'm like, well, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
It was basically a I'm your Huckleberry moment. And even though that I was pucker factor was pay.
I was gonna say, right? What's going on in the drawers at this time?
I learned at that moment.
I'm over here already.
I'm just listening.
I learned at that moment, like, I would be a hell of a poker player because I was scared to death. I mean, there wasn't a time that I was over there that I wasn't scared. Yeah. And anyone who tells you differently is lying. So we're sitting there, and it's obviously high stress situation. And basically the guy says, you're not going to get out of this. And I said, well, look, I'll just be very blunt with you that if I hear so much as a click, one click, I'm going to have one of those 240 golf swing one way, and I'm going to have one of them swing the other way. And you may win. You guys may win, but we're going to take 85% of you with us. And then I had there's this half door on the Humvee, this half metal door, like this makeshift bulletproof, big time air quotes there, door. And I remember I put my 16 up on it, and I put my barrel was about 6 inches from his face, and I said, but the only guarantee that I can guarantee you is that you'll be the first person to die. And he knew I wasn't lying. He knew I wasn't lying. And I said, all I need is a reason. And it was one of those, he knew that I was not joking. And at this point, I mean, I could hear one of the guys that had one of the 9 mils against the head and one of the insurgents that we had. I mean, I could hear the rattling of the 9 mil. I mean, because everybody knew. This is
about to go down.
This is a no shit situation.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, Weapons Company, because we were Weapons Platoon, but Weapons Company was on the net, and they're just hauling balls from their last mission.
Wait, before we go there, I know you.
Yeah.
Right? So me and you, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
I know if you're having a conversation with the other guy.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there in the background, not really knowing, but I know you. The weapon in my hand is shaking. I'm losing my draw because I know you crazy. You're crazy enough to do something and set this thing up. So I'm wondering what everyone else was shaking too. I'm sure
your pucker factor was high too.
Oh man!
Oh, you could cut the air with a knife. It was. I mean, but even though what was really solidified the fact that our reputation definitely exceeds us is looking around at the Iraqi National Guard soldiers.
Looking at those eyes.
Because their faces were like, please God, don't let this go down.
Yeah. Right.
Because they knew, like, we will deal with you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it's going to be one of those things where it's going to come down to training.
Right.
And you're going to get your ass kicked.
You just got done herding goats up in the mountains. And we've been preparing for this.
Look, we can read and write our own language.
Yeah.
And we can make these weapons reach out and touch you from 500 yards, open sight. Right. Like, you may run, but you're going to die tired.
Yeah.
You're going to die tired.
And it was, but that's when, by the grace of God, everybody was, it was a very tense situation. But then that's when Weapons Company rolled in, and those are the guys, that have the AT-4 missile launchers, the Mark 19 grenade launchers. They have the smalls. They have all 50 cals, and they rolled in and just basically circled the inner circle of the ING, the Iraqi National Guard, and almost in unison, the ING dropped their AKs and hold their hands up and no mista. And I was like, yeah, those are my homies. So say when.
Right.
And that was it. That was it. They grabbed the 2 guys and took them back to battalion and back to the base, and they were gone.